Welcome to today's chaotic mess. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Coffee with Katie. I have my leopard mug that I got when I was in South Africa. Today's video is going to be a chaotic book haul because I have a bunch of books here that I'm simply hauling because I need to get them out of my way, which has been kind of the vibe and the theme that has been for a few of my book hauls recently. I'll just stack them here and let them accumulate until I feel like it's time for a book haul, and now it's too much. So I'm saying it's chaotic because I'm not going to be really going into them that much because I need to get through this really quickly. I'm going to a lavender party in like an hour and a little bit that my neighbor is throwing, so I have some eyeshadow and lip situation. But anyway, I'm short on time and I also just need to get other things done today. So we're trying to make this video shorter than it usually is. That way I can get through this, but also it's not a pain to edit. So without further ado, let's get into these books. First off, we know that I got the Arc from Chaos Villa, so I don't know if I've hauled this before, but we got this. I have a review on it. We don't need to go into that at all. I also mentioned this in my reading wrap-up, but I got the Love Hypothesis, Love on the Brain, and Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood at Barnes & Noble. My Goldsboro Dragonfall by L.R. Lamb. Bewitched by Laura Thalassa. It's kind of a witchy mummy type story, I think. My Fairy Loot edition of Immortal Longings by Chloe Gong. I already talked about this in the unboxings that I'm gonna post if it hasn't gone up already. My Illumicrate edition of The Sun and the Void by Gabriela Romero Lacruz. It's a pretty edition. Additions to my Stephanie Garber collection, I have the 5th anniversary of Legendary UK paperback and the Ballad of Never After Waterstones exclusive edition UK paperback. We got this on clearance. We didn't even get it with this. We got it on clearance and I don't remember exactly why. I think John was curious in reading it, but that is Sleeping Giants by Sylvain Nouvel? Don't really know, but the naked hardcover is really cool. This is a sci-fi story about a woman, I believe, that just stumbles upon these like giant hands, like robotic hands, and it ends up being a life form. The normal edition of Painted Devils by Margaret Owen, because I had pre-ordered it, but then I ended up getting the Illumicrate edition of Painted Devils by Margaret Owen, which we love. It's got another like hardcover case, or printed hardcover case. It's really cool. I also got Where the Drowned Girls Go and Lost in the Moment and Found by Seanan McGuire. These are the next two installments that I don't own yet of the Wayward Children series, and I got them on Pango, so we have those. My Goldsboro edition of Perilous Times by Thomas D. Lee. I believe this is kind of a Merlin round table meets modern day type of a thing. My Fairy Loot editions of Sorcery of Thorns, and An Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson to match my Vespertine. I also grabbed Ruination by Anthony Reynolds because this was 50% off, as you can see, and it's a really cool hardcover. I really like the cover itself. It's a League of Legends book, which is interesting. It also has this foil sword and a reverse dust jacket, which is kind of cool. And I believe Elliot Brooks read this and she said she liked it, so I wanted to go ahead and grab it. My Fairy Loot edition of Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross, which I really need to get to because I've heard great things. My Fairy Loot edition of The Curse of Saints by Kate Dramis. I also saw this on Pango and grabbed it, and that is Bride of the Sea by Emma Hamm. I will pretty much buy any of Emma Hamm's books, and I haven't seen this one on her shop. But yeah, any of her books I will absolutely buy because I really liked her because I really liked the books that I've read for her so far, and she's an indie author, so I like supporting her. I guess this wasn't necessarily supporting her because it was used. But anyway, I will always buy her books. I have no idea what it's about, but it's about a mermaid, I'm assuming, or a siren. I also got the Illumicrate edition of The Just Sat Here by Sarah Hashem. I don't remember what this was about, but I remember seeing like an Orbit Instagram ad for this kind of, where they were just kind of giving you like a tiny bit of a rundown of the book, and it sounded interesting, so I'm glad that I have this edition. And I have it upstairs right now, but I also got A Kingdom of Flame and Fury by Whitney Dean. I got that in the Imaginarium Book Festival this year. I believe it was in May that I went. I got that one and was able to get it signed, which was really cool. And then I also picked up Sugarcane by Cassandra Celia. And I met both of them. They were both super nice, super sweet. And I was able to meet Fable Grounds Coffee, Caitlin, the owner of Fable Grounds Coffee, and she's also the author of A Lust for Blood, Casey Smith. So it was really cool to meet all of them. And since I've kind of gotten closer with them via social media because of some drama surrounding Whitney Dean's books, which I'm going to post a separate video about. Anyway, I did get Sugarcane, and this was pitched as a serial killer romance, and that's why I grabbed it. It's also super short, so I'm intrigued. Can't wait to give it a try. Then I ordered these special Fairy Loot editions a little while ago, and they finally came, and that is the Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer, the first one being Cinder. And I love that the spine makes up an image, Scarlet, Cress, and this chonker, Winter. I also picked up the broken binding edition of Sons of Darkness by Gaurav Mohanty. This just sounds like a fantastic book and a fantastic read, and when I saw Broken Binding was doing their own edition, I had to have it. It's signed and numbered, which is super cool, and that's basically everything. I wanted it. My Fairy Loot edition of Sing Me to Sleep by Gabby Burton. My Broken Binding The Bone Ship's Wake by R.J. Barker. Bookish Box edition of Shadow and Moonlight by Luna Laurier. And then I literally just got these today, and they're a little beat up, but that's okay. I got the Fairy Loot editions of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. I love how foily and shiny they are. Good Girl, Bad Blood, and As Good as Dead. You know my thoughts on this series. You know this isn't my favorite book at all, but I did like the series, and I was really excited that they were doing special editions of them. I got the Goldsboro edition of Battle Drum by Sarar Al-Arifi. Wow, I butchered that. Anyway, I got this because it matched my other one, and if I like the book, I'm gonna want the matching edition, you know, but it's got the really pretty foiling on it. My Illumicrate edition of The Witch King by Martha Wells. I am really excited about this because I really liked Martha Wells' Murderbot series, but I've heard not great things about this, so we'll see what I think. And then, because I told you guys earlier that I couldn't decide between the Illumicrate or the Fairy Loot editions, I did end up getting in, I'd already ordered them, but I ended up getting in the House of Sky and Breath, Crescent City, well, House of Earth and Blood, House of Sky and Breath, the Crescent City books, the Fairy Loot editions. So they have them in this slipcase right now. I'm sure you've seen them. But we got Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood, and Crescent City, House of Sky and Breath. Oh my gosh, I almost died. So we got both of those in. They're very pretty. I like them. I feel like the Illumicrate ones, they did the same cover, but they did really beautiful, like, intricate edges. And the Fairy Loot editions just did kind of like a moon phases with the color of the book, but the covers are different, and I like that the covers are different. It's very hard for me to choose, but I think I prefer the Fairy Loot ones. And as we were talking about the Shannon Maguire books before, I had read these, but I hadn't owned them yet, so I picked up the rest of them. Every Heart a Doorway by Shannon Maguire, Down Among the Sticks and Bones, and Beneath the Sugar Sky. So I should be caught up with owning all of them. I bought them all secondhand because they're so expensive. Brand new, but I got them all now. I got this secondhand as well because it's impossible to find these not secondhand, but I found the Legends Star Wars Han Solo trilogy. These are the Barnes & Noble like faux leather Star Wars books that they've come out with, and there's still some I'm missing, but I'm very close to having all of them at this point. I love them so much. So I finally got this one. Lore Olympus Volume 4, because I'm always gonna buy these. And then the hype got me for these, and I bought the Illumicrate editions of The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. Look at that. And A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon. So I will give them a shot. I said before I had no desire in reading them, and I think I don't really have a desire in reading Priory of the Orange Tree, but I do have a weird desire to read A Day of Fallen Night that has come out of nowhere. I think it's because people told me it was about witches and there's more dragons. So I might attempt to read these, but let me know. I feel like I fell into the hype a little bit Let me know if it's worth it, please. And then I was able to buy these secondhand, but I had been wanting them for quite a while and was a little bit sad that I missed out on them, so I was glad I did get them. And that is the Illumicrate editions of The Winner's Curse by Maria Rutkowski, The Winner's Kiss, and The Winner's Crime. I also missed out on these, and then they did a restock, and the restock sold out in like 2 minutes, something ridiculous, a very short amount of time, but I was one of those people that got them, and I'm pretty excited. So I got the Broken Binding editions of the Winnowing Flame trilogy by Jen Williams. So the first one is The Ninth Reign, The Bitter Twins, and The Poison Song. I love this cover so much. And then I got this edition because I like the UK cover way more than the US cover, and I got Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. I think this cover is super cute, and I've heard great things about this story, as I'm sure all of you have, and it's like cozy and fun. I wasn't sure how I was gonna feel about it, but I am gonna give it a shot at some point. And then I got my Goldsboro edition of Scarlet by Genevieve Cogman. It's a very pretty book, and I've heard it's like the French Revolution mixed with vampires, kind of like Les Mis and vampires. I don't know, but it's a really pretty edition. And then I got the rest in this series. I don't remember, Regency Fae series? I don't quite remember the name of it, but I think it's something like that, from my Fairyloot edition to match my Half a Soul. So I got 10,000 Stitches by Olivia Atwater and Long Shadow by Olivia Atwater. I also got this, so you saw a little bit. I got this secondhand, so I bought this off of Pingo Books, but it is brand new, as in brand new and wrapped in plastic, brand new. I got it for $30. The first 3 illustrated editions of Harry Potter. So it was an insane deal, and I was pumped to get them. I also got the German edition of Fourth Wing because I saw the hardcover and it was just too beautiful. So I got that. That's what the edges look like. It's really cool. But the naked hardcover is insane. I love it. And I really love Fourth Wing, so super cool. My Fairyloot edition of Shanghai Immortelle by A.Y. Chow. My Bookish Box edition of A Kingdom of Stars and Shadows by Holly Renee. The Barnes & Noble exclusive edition of House of Roots and Ruin by Erin A. Craig. I really liked A House of Salt and Sorrows, so I wanted to get the sequel. Oh my gosh, I've had to start and stop this video so many times because of my dog. I'm gonna try to get through these last few books very quickly. I grabbed the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition of Lightbringer by Pierce Brown because I am continuing this series and I have all the other books, so here we go. I did grab myself a copy. This is the Target edition of Brotherhood by Mike Chen, the Star Wars edition, the Star Wars book with Anakin and Obi-Wan. I loved it, I read it, and I fell in love with it, so I wanted to grab a hard copy of it because I was just listening to it on audio. Then we have the Broken Binding edition of The Wolf of Aranyaro by K.S. Veloso. My Bookish Box edition of The Dark King by Gina L. Maxwell. My Fairyloot edition of Threads That Bind by Kika Hazopoulou. And then I got my special edition of the Demon Court 7 Deadly Demons novel from this series by Emma Hamm. These are the special editions that like she does in her own shop. So I pre-ordered this one a long time ago and I just pre-ordered the second one. But again, I will pretty much read anything Emma Hamm puts out and I'll buy it even if I haven't read it and just collect her works like a hoarder. And then I have been kind of interested in these books for a long time, but I've never bought them. And then the hardcovers themselves, the one time I could buy them in person at the Imaginarium Book Festival, were like $30 a piece, but I think they were actually sold out of them. I don't remember. But I saw these on Pango and I was like, this is a great time to try them. So I got the Hollow Gods and the Echoed Realm by A.J. Verana. And I don't remember anything about these at the moment, but I remember thinking that it sounded interesting. They're a little beat up, they're used, but I thought that was okay. And so I got them. And then I got these because I got the Demon Queen Trials, the special editions from Fake Crate by C.N. Crawford. I thought I had to get the Frost and Nectar series by C.N. Crawford with the Fake Crate editions, so I did. This is them. They're kind of interesting. So we have Frost by C.N. Crawford, and this is book 1, and it's like there's like a protective coating on this too that I have to take off. But the dust jacket is actually clear, but it has like the frosted detailing, which is really cool. And then this is the naked hardcover. And then it's got silver edges and is signed by the author, which is cool. Then we have Ambrosia, which I love the edges on these. They're like orange. And same thing, except it's like leaves instead. And a naked hardcover looks like this. They're really pretty. I feel about people on the cover, but I feel like they had to match because I got one edition or one set of her books in Fake Crate, so I feel like I had to get the other one in Fake Crate. I don't know, but I have them now, and if I hate them later on, I will sell them. But there we go. My dog's chewing on something now. I just can't win right now. But that was a chaotic, crazy, insane, distracted book haul. Chaotic as promised. And that's all I got for you today. Comment down below and let me know if you've read any of these books or if there's ones that I should get to sooner rather than later. Thank you so much for watching, but that is it for today's video. Please like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I will see you next time. Stay safe and caffeinated. Bye!